Once upon a time, I met a boy named Ethan. He was charming, funny, and seemed to have a heart of gold. We met at a school event, and from that moment on, we felt an instant connection. We started spending more time together, and every moment with him felt like an adventure. I found myself looking forward to our conversations and the time we spent together. Ethan had a way of making me laugh, even on my worst days. He would tell jokes, share funny stories, and always knew how to lift my spirits. We would go on long walks in the park, talk about our dreams, and share our favorite hobbies. It felt like we had known each other forever, and I couldn't imagine my life without him. As our relationship grew, I felt a sense of happiness and excitement that I had never felt before. We would text each other all the time, and every message from him made my heart skip a beat. He would surprise me with little gifts and thoughtful gestures, and it made me feel special and loved. I thought I had found the perfect person for me. But as time went on, I began to notice some things that made me question if Ethan was truly the right person for me. These doubts started to grow, and I knew I needed to pay attention to them. As our relationship continued, I started to notice some early signs that made me feel uneasy. At first, they were small things that I tried to ignore. Ethan had a tendency to be overly critical of my interests and hobbies. He would sometimes make fun of the things I loved, and it hurt my feelings. I brushed it off, thinking he was just joking, but the comments started to add up. There were times when Ethan would cancel our plans at the last minute without a good reason. It made me feel unimportant, and left me wondering if he truly cared about spending time with me. I started to feel lonely and disappointed, but I didn't want to confront him about it. I was afraid of causing a fight and hoped things would get better on their own. Ethan also had a group of friends who didn't always treat me kindly. They would make snide remarks and exclude me from their conversations. Ethan never stood up for me, and it made me question if he valued our relationship as much as I did. I began to feel isolated and unsure of where I stood with him. Despite these doubts, I convinced myself that things would improve. I believed that every relationship had its ups and downs, and I wanted to give Ethan the benefit of the doubt. But deep down, I knew that something wasn't right, and I couldn't ignore my feelings any longer. The turning point in our relationship came during a school dance. I had been looking forward to the dance for weeks, and had put a lot of effort into picking out the perfect dress. I was excited to spend the evening with Ethan and create wonderful memories together. When the night finally arrived, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. I arrived at the dance, expecting to see Ethan waiting for me with a smile. But when I got there, he was nowhere to be found. I searched the crowd, feeling a sinking feeling in my stomach. After a while, I found him sitting with his friends, laughing and having a good time without me. I approached him and asked why he hadn't greeted me or made any effort to spend time with me. He shrugged it off, saying he was just having fun with his friends and that I was overreacting. His dismissive attitude hurt me deeply, and I realized that this wasn't the first time he had made me feel this way. It was a pattern that I could no longer ignore. That night, as I stood alone in the crowd, I knew I had to confront the truth. I deserved to be with someone who valued and respected me, someone who would make an effort to make me feel special and loved. It was time to face the reality that Ethan wasn't the right person for me. The next day, I decided to have an honest conversation with Ethan. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I needed to express my feelings and address the issues that had been bothering me. I took a deep breath and met with him at a quiet spot in the park. "Ethan, I need to talk to you about something important," I began. "I've been feeling hurt and unimportant in our relationship, and I can't ignore it anymore. I need to know if you truly care about us." Ethan looked surprised but listened as I shared my feelings. I told him about the times he had made me feel insignificant and how his friend's behavior had affected me. I explained that I wanted to be with someone who valued and respected me, and I wasn't sure if he was that person. Ethan's reaction was a mix of defensiveness and indifference. He downplayed my concerns and made it seem like I was overreacting. His lack of empathy and understanding confirmed what I had been feeling all along. It was clear that he wasn't willing to change or make an effort to improve our relationship. With a heavy heart, I made the difficult decision to end our relationship. It was painful, but I knew it was the right choice for my well-being and happiness. I deserved to be with someone who appreciated and valued me for who I was. After saying goodbye to Ethan, I went through a period of sadness and reflection. It wasn't easy, but I knew that I needed to focus on myself and my own happiness. I surrounded myself with supportive friends and family who helped me through the tough times. I began to rediscover my interests and passions. I took up new hobbies, like painting and writing, and they brought me joy and fulfillment. I also focused on my studies and set new goals for myself. Each day, I felt a little stronger and more confident in who I was. Through this experience, I learned valuable lessons about self-worth and the importance of being with someone who truly values and respects you. I realized that it's okay to let go of relationships that don't bring you happiness and to prioritize your own well-being. I embraced a new beginning with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. I continued to nurture my relationships with the people who truly cared about me and focused on living a life filled with kindness, love, and positivity. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it has inspired you and reminded you that no matter how difficult things may seem, there is always a way to find happiness and healing. Remember, you have the strength to overcome any challenge and the courage to embrace new beginnings.